Welcome everybody to Ringsiders Wrestling, back again with another interview. I am, as always, Hooch McGraw, Callum McInnes. Today I'm joined by a very special guest, someone I've been looking forward to speaking to for a while. As I've mentioned before, I do enjoy speaking to people that I'm not overly familiar with, and at the end of the interview, I'm usually the biggest fan in the world. So today, please introduce the Turkish assassin, Ender Kara.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you for joining us today, Ender. It's a pleasure to talk to you. And
thank you. My pleasure is mine. Jesus.
As I mentioned, I'm not overly familiar with your work, but from what I have seen online, you have the style and everything that I look for in like a wrestler, the type of guy I like. You're very strike-based.
Yeah.
You've got that strong style, but with like a bit of the high-flying thrown in. So we'll definitely get into that at some point. But what I'd love to know is, how have you been spending your lockdown? And during this COVID era of wrestling, everyone we've spoken to has been finding it hard to adapt to the not being able to wrestle and not being able to train. How has it been for you? How have you adapted?
I would honestly say that I have been lucky, but like in a way, I haven't been lucky. The thing is, I am currently based in Sweden, Stockholm, Sweden. So we haven't really been in a lockdown, and the gyms have not closed. So everything is pretty much as it already was before. Only difference is travels are obviously not allowed. You can still see friends, like you can go out, can kiss people and shit. It's I haven't had really much of a lockdown, but yeah, the thing is, there was one gym that actually closed down, but nobody else did. So they're like, why are we closed down? And they just reopened. But yeah, that is also like one of the reasons why Sweden has been affected like a lot by this virus, because we didn't take it seriously. And then when it got serious, we were like, oh shit, it's too late. So
that kind of happened with us as well in the UK. We did have a full-scale lockdown, but it was about 5 weeks too late. And then they started easing the lockdown way too soon. And like, you can do everything now just about. I've just been out to have a coffee, seen some friends. And, you know, if there's going to be a second spike, it won't be surprising. Hopefully there won't be. But yeah, I mean, some countries really didn't take it seriously. And some of the wrestlers I have spoken to have been going crazy, not being able to train, not being able to wrestle. I guess in a way, like, you're awesome. Lucky that you've been able to carry on. But yeah, I mean, are you going to be wrestling anytime soon? Or are the shows carrying on still?
I just forgot to mention that part. It's really important as well. We always didn't have shows going on, but I could train, I could work out and everything like that. But we couldn't have shows because we couldn't gather a bunch of people into a venue. Because of the spread of the virus, obviously. And but to be fair, like in Sweden, we don't have too many shows going on anyway, so I wasn't too surprised. However, all my bookings outside of Sweden were canceled or postponed, unfortunately. We had a lot of debuts coming up, but yeah, every single one of them was postponed, and who knows, maybe we'll not get to that point, you know, where I actually go, because the timing was just right at that time. But who knows? I don't know.
So was it wrestling that brought you to Sweden originally to wrestle there on their scene?
So sorry, what's that? Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Did you come to Sweden for the wrestling scene, or is it?
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah. What's the wrestling scene?
I'm born and raised. So I'm born and raised in Sweden, and the scene over here is not too big at all. At the moment, we've got, I believe it's, I gotta think now. We got Stockholm, Gothenburg, Halmstad, we've got 5 promotions currently in Sweden, and 3 of them are in the south end of Sweden, and 2 of them are in Stockholm. But I'm only based out of one of them in Stockholm, and that's about it. I don't wrestle actively for the other promotions anymore. So what I do is I focus on that particular promotion and promotions outside of Sweden. However, like the overall shows in Sweden, we're talking like we can get into 200 to 300 people in one. Gothenburg wrestling usually sells, to my knowledge. And yeah, that's pretty much all I know about that.
Dude, it seems like the Swedish wrestling scene is like kind of following what the British wrestling scene was like a few years ago. Like our wrestling scene used to be pretty much non-existent, and then we had a few promotions pop up which got people's attention, and now we've got like a pretty solid wrestling scene. Like you've got promotions in most towns. Can you see that going the same way for Swedish wrestling? Like I have heard rumblings of Swedish wrestling before, but I've never like, I think you might be the first Swedish wrestler I've spoken to in that sense. And
exactly.
I think that's really cool. But at the same time, like, it would be nice to know more about the scene and what's going on over there.
Man, that's a somewhat of a touchy subject, because we do have wrestlers over here, obviously, but what I usually say, like, this is gonna probably get some heat on me, but I've had enough. But so the only thing that's, like, in my opinion, from what I've seen, because I've been part of this business since 2016, 17-ish, like late 2016. The only thing that's stopping Sweden to like Swedish promotions and Swedish wrestling to grow is the wrestlers themselves, in my opinion. I feel like this is just me talking from my experience. I'm not saying this is the way it is, but people tend to put their personal opinions before business.
Okay.
And that's it, really. And that's what's, in my opinion, stopping Swedish wrestling from growing in Sweden. But I feel like eventually when I make my name outside of Sweden, I feel like it's gonna get bigger and bigger, because I feel like I will get a lot of attention in Sweden for what I'm doing outside of it. And almost like if you think about it, like, people didn't know too much about Swedish football until Ibrahimovic, made some scenes outside of Sweden as well. Like, I kind of see myself in that sense, but I don't want to compare myself to him, because he's his own person and I am my own person. But yeah, like, there's similarities over there, in my opinion.
Is there anywhere in particular that you can see yourself making that name for yourself? Because just from what I've seen, I could see you fitting into the British wrestling scene very easily, just from your style. It complements what we kind of make a big deal of in the UK, that striking style, the high flying, the technical. It seems like you've got a bit of a mix of all of those styles, and I can see you coming here and doing that. Is the goal also to do, I'm guessing, buy your t-shirt, New Japan Pro Wrestling? Is that your goal as well? Do you want to go to Japan? Do you want to do America?
So as for what you said about the British wrestling scene, that is totally true, because last year I stayed in the UK for a total of 6 months. Invested in myself, took a risk, and went outside of Sweden and stayed there for 6 months in total, like I said. But my ultimate goal has always been Japan, and I think, like, every people who know me from before and listen to this, they know that is 100% true, and they know that everything I've done in my life ever since I started has been related to wrestling and to be in Japan, because that has always been my goal ever since I was a child. Because I've always been interested in the culture, the people, like, everything about Japan I loved. I was, like, obsessed with it. And then I found out there's wrestling over there, like, in 2014, because my first match that I saw in New Japan was Prince Devitt against Kota Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom. I believe that was, like, in 2014. But yeah, like, ever since I saw that one match, I've always wanted to be in Japan. And I wouldn't complain about making my name in America as well, but as long as for AEW or something. But as for Japan, like, I would love to be, like, in obviously New Japan, because I have friends over there. I would love to do Noah, Dragon Gate, like, whichever. I am keeping my eyes on that, But yeah.
Hey, dude, that would be awesome. Like you said, it doesn't always have to be New Japan. Japan has a very rich wrestling scene.
Yeah.
And a lot of people I speak to, I mean, there's always the two goals. You either want to headline WrestleMania, or you want to do Wrestle Kingdom. And
right. Yeah.
A lot of people I speak to, they're always like, I want to do Japan. I want to. It's the goal. Like, it's on the bucket list. It's
absolutely.
cool to wrestle in WWE, but it's special to wrestle in Japan.
Yeah.
Because there's such a history and respect for the sport.
Yeah.
And I think, like, again, going back to your style with that striking and stuff, it would fit like a hand to a glove to Japan. Is there any promotion in particular that you would want to work with? I've always been a big fan of AJPW, for example. I've always loved that style. I think a lot of people do, because it goes so far back. I've actually just had a friend debut there, Lucas Steele. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, big dude.
Big dude.
Yeah. He used to be the same size as me. Yeah. He used to be about. I'm only about 11 stone. He used to be about the same size as me, and I think last week he said that he clocked in at 245 pounds. And he's 22 years old. So yeah, he's going to do pretty well for himself there, I reckon, if he keeps that up. Is there any way you'd want to wrestle in particular in Japan?
Like you said, All Japan would be something special as well. Noah, Dragon Gate, and New Japan.
Yeah.
If I would spend a day, man, like anywhere in Japan, obviously DDT as well. Like, I have a lot of friends over there as well.
Yeah.
I made a lot of friends, Japanese friends in particular, during my time in the UK as well, because they would come and work for Fight Club Pro, where I trained, and.
Nice.
From there, like, I would meet up with Meiko Satomura, Shigeru Iri, and stuff, and awesome. And before that, I even went to the New Japan LA dojo. I was selected to participate in like that 3-day seminar over there with Shibata-san. He's on the line. So like, I've dedicated my life to that, So. And I'm also, like, people know this from before as well, but I am like studying Japanese on a regular basis, and I've done that for a very long time too. Like, in terms of like reading, communicating has been a bit rusty, but reading I can do. Kanji is the worst thing ever. That's all I've got to say about that.
I was actually having this discussion today with a friend. The wrestlers who go to Japan, and you can tell the ones who are passionate about it are the ones who learn the language. Because they've obviously got an intention of staying there and dedicating their life to it. Because if you're going to live in Japan, you're going to train there, you should probably know how to speak the language. So I think it's a respect thing. It comes back to respect. You respect the culture, you learn the language. And if I was to live in Japan, it's the first thing I'd do. So it's cool to know that you're doing that. You're getting a head start. You obviously believe in yourself, which is good. You know you're going to be there at some point. And
exactly.
That's it. You might as well do it now. And I'm guessing the goal is to at some point get a Ribera steakhouse jacket.
Fuck yeah.
Man, that would be so cool.
I would not say no to
that. My friend again, Lucas, when he went to All Japan, he wrestled at quite a few of the halls around Tokyo, and he actually got himself a Ribera steakhouse jacket when he went. And I've never been more jealous of somebody in my life. When he was like, "Oh, look at this," I was just like, "You don't realize how cool that is. Like, they don't give them to fans. Like, you've got to be a wrestler." So if you get one at some point, then I'll be jealous of yourself too. But
I'll make sure I'll tag you.
Yeah, please. Have you been to Japan before?
Never ever. Mada, as we say. Not yet.
See, is that on the goal to do as soon as say travel is lifted, the travel ban? Are you going to be getting yourself out to Japan?
That's the thing. Like in January of this year, I sat in my dark room and I plotted and I planned my entire year going forward, because I had the experience from the UK, and I had been to Germany, and I was like, actually I hadn't been in Germany at that point, but I was like, I knew I had Germany coming up, but the entire January month I was like planning everything, because I had no bookings at that time. So I planned everything during the year, and then this pandemic happened, and every single thing was canceled. Like, we're talking, I was gonna debut in Italy, I was like gonna debut in Spain or France as well. Like, that was like a part of the plan too. Japan as well. Like, the plan was to head to Japan out of nowhere, and people were gonna freak out or something, as if I'm gonna wrestle. But I'm really not, because I'm far away from that right now, even though I have my contacts and shit. But as for now, like I've realized that I don't want to be in Sweden. I never wanted to be in Sweden before either. I had to come back because of financial issues while I was in the UK. So basically, what I've done now during this pandemic, I've tried to work as much as possible to save as much money as possible. Stay busy, obviously, because when there's no wrestling, there's no therapy for me. So like I gotta stay busy and trying to get myself in the best physique possible because I know it's eventually gonna come back.
Yeah.
And I've contacted the Japanese embassy and everything here in Stockholm regarding travel and such, and they're like, "Oh, Japan has closed their borders for now, but we'll know at the end of July, which is pretty soon. So at the 1st of August, I will know if I can take that risk or if I should go with Plan B, which I might as well say it, but Germany is my Plan B." And Plan C would be England again, obviously, but we'll see what happens. I just revealed like everything now. It's okay.
They've got a good wrestling scene in Germany. I'd love to get to WSW at some point.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can share this, but it was canceled anyways. But so what I did, I went to WXW Academy and stayed there for a week in total, like a week. And trained with Russ Taylor, who's working in New Japan right now. Working with Oracle, who's in Israel right now. Like people from all these nationalities in this same apartment. We're training every day for a week, and then I went back home. Then a week after, I did GWF. I did the light heavyweight World Cup against Senza Volto, and then I decided, like, my plan during the WXW stay was to make a good impression and be invited back, and I succeeded with that because after that I was invited to do a WXW tryout, which unfortunately got canceled because coronavirus.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. It's like it's ruined everything, but I gotta keep eyes forward.
Hey, dude, it's just good to know you've got the opportunities before. But if you got
absolutely,
they'll come again. So there's no doubt there. It's cool to know that your backup plan was Germany, though, your plan B, because Germany's got such a good wrestling scene. I'd put it on par with the UK wrestling scene. WXW is probably one of the best, if not the best, promotion in Europe. And I think a lot of people don't really give it the credit it deserves because there's you've got your Progress and stuff in the UK, but I've always preferred the German wrestling scene to even our big promotions in the UK. So that's cool to know. And if ever, all the best with that, I really do hope you get both. I hope you can do Japan and Germany. There's no reason you won't be able to do both.
Right. Thank you. Yeah.
But what I'd love to know as well is, I ask everybody this because it always fascinates me. Growing up, who was your favorite wrestler?
Growing up, oh man, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, and Jeff Hardy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, back when I was watching WWE, I do not watch WWE anymore. But when I did, when I was a child, I was actually watching Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, and Jeff Hardy all the time. Even Randy Orton, even though I hated him, because I always wanted to see him getting beat up. Because at that time, I didn't know about, I thought everything was real, obviously. So I didn't know about kayfabe at all. But Randy Orton, he was pretty good.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. He's probably one of the most underrated workers, I think, who he can tell a good story by doing very little in the ring. And the stuff he does do is very crisp, very good, and safe as well. So I think he gets a hard time for being boring, but I think if you understand his style, it's not boring. It's actually quite entertaining.
Especially if you're everybody. You can study very easily.
Yeah. But it's cool to know. I mean, Jeff Hardy, Eddie Guerrero, and Rey Mysterio, three of the best high flyers in WWE history. And Eddie Guerrero with the greatest underdog story I can ever remember. Him when Eddie beat Brock Lesnar for the title. I was only 14 at the time, but I cried like a little kid. Seriously, that was one of the most heartwarming moments ever in wrestling.
And when Mysterio won the Rumble in 2006, that one got me as well. Man.
Yeah, in 2005, I believe it was.
I believe it was 2006. I'm not quite sure. Man, I remember when Eddie turned heel on Ray as well. That one got me. Like, I was like afraid to watch the promo videos of that. Gosh, I remember so bad.
But you've got to be friends. You can't be enemies.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is real, because he was bleeding, and I was like, wow, what the hell? Like freaking out as a child, but it's a work.
Oh, yeah. When did you realize it was a work then? Because it took me until I was about 14.
Yeah, pretty much the same. Or almost, yeah, pretty much the same.
And I had the same reaction as to when I found out Father Christmas wasn't real. Sorry to spoil that, but yeah, I don't think there's any kids watching the show.
No, you're fine. I'm swearing, so they shouldn't be watching.
That's true. But I remember thinking, wait a minute, I didn't know what work was, but it was as soon as I found out there was like wrestling forums where people were talking about things, and they were like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be happening on SmackDown," and then it happened, and I was like, "How did you know?" And then I remembered it's taped, and I was like, what?" So yeah, then as soon as I found this out, I became one of those fans who was on the forums all the time, complaining about stuff. And then I realized that's just a lot of effort to do. I just enjoy wrestling now, and the wrestling I don't enjoy, I just don't watch. And I think a lot of people nowadays, they'll carry on watching the wrestling they don't enjoy and just make themselves angry instead of just not watching it. Because there's so much wrestling out there now. There's hundreds of thousands of promotions out there. You can find something you like. There's New Japan, AEW, Impact. They're doing amazing work right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
And there's something for everybody. It doesn't have to just be WWE. And going back to like your favorite wrestlers growing up, so you was a WWE guy to start with, and I'm guessing did you become a fan of like the Indies in Japan after that?
Like before, when I was younger, I didn't even know like there was Indies or Japan, because I was like, oh, WWE. Mm-hmm. But when I found out that, when I found Japan, like New Japan, that was when I was like, wow, there's more. And then I discovered PWG, and I discovered so much more. And then it goes on, and I was like, what the hell? Revolution Pro? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Fight Club Pro, OTT. Oh my goodness. I was like, wow.
The whole world of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like, fuck. WWE sucks. I was like,
because PWG and early Ring of Honor was my first outside of WWE.
Yeah, Ring of Honor as well. Yeah, how could I forget that? Jesus,
showing my age a bit now, but it was 31, so going back to 2003, 2004 Ring of Honor, and I was like, my mind was blown by how good it was, because it was so different to WWE, and you had your PWG. I mean, PWG's made so many stars for WWE, and people don't realize. If you didn't have PWG, you probably wouldn't have your Adam Cole, your Kevin Steens, your Undisputed Eras. They've done some great work. And is it a goal of yours to also wrestle in somewhere like Battle of Los Angeles then?
Absolutely, that would be something. Yeah, I would love that. Anytime, Jesus Christ, man. I'm weak for tournaments and such. Like, I love that.
You like tournaments?
Mm-hmm. Best of the juniors, especially. That's a goal for sure.
Super Juniors, G1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about G1, because I've come to the realization that I can't bulk, and I can't get bigger. So I've decided. I've just decided to become like a shredded, fucking statue, like a Greek god, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just shredded, and that's one thing I'm good at. I can't bulk. I've tried so many times, and it's just so hard.
It's a hard. The term is hard getting, isn't it? And I'm
completely. Expensive too.
Yeah, dude. When I used to hit the gym a fair few times a week, back when I could be bothered to go, I'd be going to gym maybe 5 times a week, eating a lot of calories, a lot of food, expensive, like you said, doing the wrestling training in between, and I wouldn't put on any size. And my friends would always be like, "Oh, I'm so jealous of you," and I was like, "Why are you jealous? I'm trying to put on weight." And I think the heaviest I ever got to is 12.5 stone, and as soon as I stopped going to the gym, it all came off, and I'll get back down to 11. And I was like, I can't be bothered. It's so much work to do.
Right.
And it's like, at least you found a way around it. You've just made that into your thing. You've just become a shredded, like Greek god, like you said, who kicks your ass.
Yeah, I was pretty sure. Like, I've always been thin and small, but I've always been like shredded according to people. But now I've like ever since I started wrestling, I've gained so much more muscle mass like compared to before, and got it shredded as well. And people are like, wow. But the thing is, like, there's people over here as well. Like, I have a good friend named Victor Volt. Not many know of him, but fuck, that's your loss. But he's like, yeah, man, you gotta get bigger. I was like, you know what? No, I can't do it. And I know that nobody can look like me eventually, like when I get to my final form, if that makes sense. Like, we're talking like I'm aiming for Taiji Shimori style,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how like that body.
0% body fat.
Yeah, I'm currently, I haven't checked, but I would guess I'm around like 11, 10 right now. I'm not sure, but I gotta get that checked out.
Yeah.
I weigh 138 pounds. Like, if we're gonna be real, like, I weigh nothing. I'm a shrimp, but I can deadlift 375 pounds. So, pretty strong for my size.
That's actually quite
almost
like 3 times your body weight.
Yeah, almost triple my body weight. Yeah. That's what I mean. Because people are like, man, you're such a high flyer, you just fly and do flips, right? I'm like, no, I prefer not to do the flips. Honestly, I've said that to everybody. I'm a Taekwondo black belt. I kick people. That's what I do, and I'm pretty strong for my size too. I can lift. I can fight. Yeah,
got that smaller guy who, like Tyler Bate, for example.
Yeah,
he's so strong for his size. He's like 5'6" at a push.
He's my height. Yeah.
Yeah, he will deadlift you and hold you there. And I don't know how he does it. Like, it makes me hurt to watch him do it. But he's so strong. And I think that's so impressive as a fan watching, seeing him doing this kind of shit. And for you, it's like, if it's the first time they're watching you, you're going to kick somebody, you're going to do a few high flying bits, I guess. But you're also going to like use your power and stuff. And it's that kind of stuff which sticks in the fans' minds, and they want to see more of you the next time. So I think it's cool to always see that hybrid style, because you're always going to do something different. Like I said, my first thing I saw of you was a highlight video.
Yeah.
But at the end of that highlight video, I was like, oh shit, you look really good. Like, I wanted to see more of you. And
thank you.
I think you've got this move you do, which I've always been a fan of. I don't know what it's called or how to explain it. It's like you do the
so when I catch it,
and then it's like you duck under and kick. It's
the catch tornado.
Yeah. I love that move. It's always like when you hit that out of nowhere, it's always popped me. But yeah, I mean, you've got a good style. Do you feel like it's evolving as well, your style, like
Absolutely,
the more you
do? Absolutely. For every match I go, I become a better wrestler. I get, like, in my mind, for every day that goes by, I get better. But when I'm in the ring and I do my thing and I see my mistakes, like when it matters the most, that's when I'm growing the most. But yeah, absolutely.
I think that's one thing that a lot of people have said. Like, you never really stop learning as a wrestler.
No.
There's always something else you can learn. And the moment you think you've learned everything is the day you should quit, because every single opponent you wrestle, you can learn something new, even if it's how to do something well or how not to do something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that would be where, I guess, like, going back to Japan, that is your goal. If you were to get to Japan, do you feel like it would unlock a certain side of your character, someone else, like a part that you haven't accessed yet? Like, the people that you'd be able to wrestle, they'd bring out like a new side in you.
Absolutely. Like, I'm dreaming of that every single day. Like, that's what I'm thinking about every day that goes by. Like, all day, I'm just thinking about who I could potentially work with and what I could do if I were to work with that person, and the lengths I would go and all that. Because there's been some times in matches where I've reached this stage, like, in my mind, and where I don't even, I don't know, just, it's so hard to explain. But like, nothing else, I can't hear anything, nothing else matters, and my only priority in there is to just Man, I don't even know how to explain it. It's crazy, but I feel like when I'm in the ring with someone that is athletically equal to me, like, and understands the way I think, I feel like that's where the magic happens, honestly. Uh, man, God, I'm getting goosebumps and like I'm like dreaming of it right now as I'm talking about it. But yeah, that's the thing. Oh, you're muted, by the way.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it muted. That's so weird.
Yeah, it's all right.
As long as
I saw the sign, I was like, he's muted. I can't do
it. Yeah. But that's so cool. I love hearing the passion. You can tell you're passionate about it. And like I said, it's sometimes my favorite part of not knowing much about somebody beforehand, getting the chance to speak to them. It's why I'm thankful for your time. Usually at the end of the interview, I'm a big fan just by hearing the passion. And when you're talking about Japan, when you're talking about where you want to go, I have no doubts that that's somewhere you're going to get to if you keep that passion up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude. If you put in the work, you keep driven, you keep up the hard work, you're going to do it at some point. And I guess it's easier said than done. But there's no reason in a few years' time we won't be seeing Endakara at Wrestle Kingdom or All Japan or Noah or somewhere.
Absolutely.
And personally, 100%. I hope we do, because like I said, my colleague who I do Ringsiders with, Jamie, he really wanted to be on this interview tonight. Unfortunately, he's had to stay at work.
That's fine.
But hopefully, I mean, it would be awesome to get you on again.
I would love that.
Down the line, because I feel like this has been an introduction into who you are, and I'm a fan. And I'd like to talk to you again down the line and see how is it going, like getting to Japan. Are you going to do Germany? When are you back in the UK? And like keep up with your story. So if you'd like to come back on at some point, we'd love to have you back on.
Yeah, I would love to come back someday.
Yeah, and
I'll make time for it.
Oh, fantastic, man. And is there anything that you'd like to plug? Like, do you have a store where we can buy Endakara merchandise?
Not right now, but I would love for the listeners to follow me on social media. Unfortunately, I'm not too active on there because I don't interact with a lot of people. I just, share content whenever I have content, but now that there's no wrestling, I barely have content unless I repost things from before. But you can follow me at EnderkaraPW on Instagram and Twitter, and Facebook. My name is Endakara, obviously. But if you do the Facebook /EnderkaraPW, I automatically pop up there, and feel free to add me. Don't be shy. I don't mind at all.
I'll put the links in the description anyway.
Yeah, lovely.
And on the post for the on Twitter and Facebook. But perfect. I definitely give this guy a follow. And if you're like me, you're not too familiar with Ender's work, do a quick YouTube search. There's a few highlight videos. And at the end of those 2 or 3 minutes, you'll get a good idea of the kind of wrestler Ender is. I was blown away. I'm sure you will be too. And Ender, it's been a pleasure talking to you. It would be great to have you back on, like I said. But that's it for today's episode with Endakara. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you.